A present for you, KJ.
Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. So two things very quickly off the start. First, we just hit 3,000 subscribers, and I say we as in all of us because I know I run this channel, but I consider you all a part of this channel. Thank you so much for subscribing and you know, watching me sit my fat ass in this chair in one of these studios and you know, talk about horror movies with you guys. Also, too, I really do like the amount of people that are coming over to my Facebook page, Happywax TV, and joining us in the watch parties. Again, if you haven't done that yet, it's super simple. Just go in this description box. It's the first link. Find Happywax TV. Click on it and just ask to be added, and I'll add you almost immediately. And then that way, when I post on my Facebook group, when I do watch parties, which usually consist of classic horror movies, that way you guys can join in. And who knows, maybe you'll see a movie or two that I show. I do them like 3 or 4 times a week, and maybe you'll catch something that you haven't seen in a while. A lot of the movies I play, you're not going to see on TV. So anyways, that's really growing too. So I really do appreciate that. So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone. And yeah, tonight we're talking about a movie called Awoken. So straight off the hop, before we even get into this, I am going to say watch this movie. Listen, I kind of compare exorcism movies because there's a shit ton of them. And, you know, there's so many of them that are just fucking terrible. They just, I don't know, they don't hit the mark with me. You know, and maybe it's because, you know, I kind of gear most exorcism movies around certain movies. Exorcist 1, Exorcist 3, and like The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I kind of compare all movies to those because those ones I think are the creepiest, you know, classics. And I mean, look at that face. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, I watched the trailer for this movie, I don't know, probably 6 months ago, and I wasn't overly impressed with it, okay? But I watched this movie today, and I'll tell you, this movie is not without its faults, but it is fucking fantastic. I highly recommend it, and if you don't want to hear me blabber on about this movie, I'm going to give it a rating right now, and to give it a rating, I would give it like a really seriously strong 7.5, maybe even an 8. I mean, I've watched a lot of exorcism style movies lately, and a lot of them I won't even review because they're just so fucking terrible. But I mean, wow, this movie really did hit the mark. Let's get into it here. The other thing that's cool too is the director, Daniel J. Phillips. This is his first feature-length film, and I'll tell you, goddamn, man, if this is what this guy is going to be pumping out, I want to see more from him because, wow, this thing is fantastic. And the other thing too, and I've said this, now this is a low-budget movie. I don't know the exact budget, but I'm going to say it's like, I don't know, but it's a low-budget horror film, okay? And his use of practical is awesome. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't use, how do I explain it? Like, there's hardly any CGI in this movie, which is fantastic. He relies more on the practical aspect and just subtle little creepy things that go on throughout this movie. Even the like the overall theme of this movie is like a dark gray, and it just brings you down to that depressed level of dread, and you know what I mean? And it just works. And I'm telling you right now, I've said this 100 times, if you have a low budget horror movie, you better have some strong fucking acting chops to pull your movie through, as well as a good written script. And I mean, this movie has both of that. The acting is banging in this movie. I didn't really recognize any of these people, but Eric Thomas, Sarah West is fantastic in this movie. She plays Carla. Who else is in this? Benson, Jack, Anthony. They're all, you know, they've been in certain TV shows and movies, but not really faces that you'd recognize right off the hop, at least for me anyways. The other two main stars are Felicia Tassone and Matt Crook. And I'll give you the synopsis really quick. A medical student attempts to cure her brother from a terminal sleep illness called fatal familial insomnia, where you are unable to sleep until you die. On her quest to help him, a more sinister reason for his condition is revealed. Okay, so basically in the first act, we're introduced to all these characters. You know, Carla is like a medical student, and her brother, Blake, is in the hospital where she's doing her residency. And you know, there's no hope for him. Actually, one of the opening scenes are the two doctors telling her that, I mean, they have to move him out of the hospital and maybe get him back home just so he can live out his last couple of days before he passes away, because he has this disease where he can't fall asleep. So then we get introduced to Robert, who is like a professor on the campus here, where she's you know, getting her doctorate and stuff. And he tells her, because he knows of her brother, and he tells her of this facility he has in the old cliche in the basement of one of the buildings there at the university, you know what I mean? And he's got it set up down there, and he's already got 2 people down there that he's trying to help through this sleep issue. And he says, you know, your brother's not allowed to, you know, stay in the hospital anyways. Why don't you come down and we'll see if we can help him? So that's basically the first act, okay? But there is creepy moments even in the first act. But I'll tell you, when you get into the second act, and the set pieces in this fucking movie are fantastic. Like the sets themselves and the lighting are characters themselves in this movie. Like it is just creepy throughout. There are a few moments in this movie of silliness, especially at the very end, which I don't want to give spoilers for, so I don't really want to delve too much into, you know, what's going on and stuff. It's better if you just kind of let the movie unfold in front of you. But there's a little bit at the very end, like the last 6 minutes of the movie, you know, something's going on, and I thought it might have been a tad goofy, but then I had to respect it too, because, I mean, the entirety of this movie is banging. It really is, for a low-budget horror movie. And man, it's creepy, and I mean, and the other thing too, and I've said this before in other reviews, I am sick to fucking death of, like, you know, when these demonic creatures or whatever take over human form. It's like the only way they can show these you know, possessed people is by having them doing all this popping and cracking and snapping. And I tell you, there's barely any of that in this movie, and I couldn't fucking believe it. I thought, wow, like every time I thought something was going to happen that I kind of am getting sick of, it wasn't there, and he did something else, like a different technique. So I don't know, man. This movie impressed the hell out of me. I'm telling you straight up right now, if you watch the trailer, and I wasn't overly impressed with the trailer, don't let the trailer fool you, okay? Just take my advice. You know, I'll never fucking lie to you. If I don't like something, I have no problem cutting it up or ranting about it or telling you it's a pile of shit. And I'm telling you, this movie is fantastic, especially with all the crap that's come out lately. You know, exorcism movies and ghost movies and shit. This movie is banging. I highly recommend it. 7.5, maybe even getting into the 8 a little bit. Like man, maybe that's a little too high. I've seen so many shitty fucking movies lately. And some exorcism movies, and it's just, I don't know. I sat down with this and I rolled my eyes and I was like, well, let's do it. But goddamn, like I will watch this movie probably 2, 3 more times, and it's definitely going to be part of my collection. So anyways, I don't want to go on any more about it. I'm just telling you straight up, watch this fucking movie. Don't believe the horse shit on IMDb with this 4.5. I don't know what the fuck you bozos are watching or why you're giving this a rating of 4.5. Like, what? Whatever. I'm not even going to get into it. Take my word for it. I would never lie to you. This movie is way better than that. So anyways, check it out. It's called Awoken. If you have seen it, leave me comments down below. If you haven't, go rent it. It's on all platforms. You can even rent it on YouTube. I think it's like $5.99 or $4.99. So give it a watch. It's only an hour and 28 minutes. So, I mean, it's not like some of these movies where they force you to sit through 2 hours of horse shit. I mean, this is 128 minutes well spent, and you will love this movie at the end of it. Again, just remember, it does have some goofy scenes in it, but I mean, I would say 85% of this movie is banging, especially because Daniel J. Phillips this is his first feature-length film, man, so I was very impressed. So also, too, thank you again for 3,000 subs. I will be putting a video out to kind of address that a little bit more. But yeah, thanks, guys, and until next time, stay scared.